Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show, and today we have to talk about, well, why Mary Jane stealth missions, or Megajaw stealth missions, were included in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, because one of the two directors for the game was interviewed by IGN, and they go into detail as to why this happened, even though pretty much everyone hated it in the OG Marvel Spider-Man. And the one director we are talking about here is this individual, Brian, and I know you guys love when I butcher names, I'm sure, Int Ihar. That's what I'm going with. Brian Int Ihar. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty much butchering the dude's name, but they were interviewed by IGN. And let's zoom out real quick so you could see the whole title here. And the IGN article says, Spider-Man 2 director explains why those MJ stealth scenes had to be included. They had to be, guys. There's no other interesting thing that they could have done instead that would have been far more, entertaining, making a better video game. None of that was possible. MJ Megajaw stealth missions had to be included in Marvel's Spider-Man 2, despite you, the gamer, having said prior that doing this sucked. But we will continue, guys, because man, it's just interesting to me how bold this interview is. From the little that I've read of it, I read just a little bit. I'm like, oh, I have to make a video about this. So we're jumping into it right now. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has seen critical and fan acclaim in the weeks since its release, but one element that hasn't been universally beloved is the return of Mary Jane Megajaw's stealth missions from the first game. While these missions were almost universally hated in Marvel's Spider-Man, some tweaks to the formula have made them far more divisive in Spider-Man 2. And we recently spoke to one of the creative directors on Spider-Man 2 to learn exactly why they're in the game at all. Yes, please tell us why you chose to make a lesser game than what you could have made. So, why have these missions been upgraded from loathed to merely divisive? Well, one big reason is that Megajaw is OP now, overpowered. Yes, and I can confirm, having played the game on the hardest difficulty, that Mary Jane, Megajaw Watson, is indeed the most powerful character in this game. Far superior to, and minor spoilers here, guys, far superior to Miles Morales, far superior to Peter Parker, even far superior to Venom himself. But we continue. Her stun gun makes short work of enemies that take Peter and Miles multiple hits to beat up. For some, this change of pace is awesome. Even John Wick-like. And guys, I've spoken to a lot of people that have been playing the game who have played these sections, and the most that I've gotten from some individuals is that, well, they didn't hate it, or that it was, at least better than the previous game. And no point do I hear people say that, oh, I absolutely love these stealth missions. They are, peak gaming. And we don't hear this at all. So I don't know where IGN is getting this. Well, some people loved it. No, not at all. I boldly, I've said before that people have created a fake issue to try and justify the Megajaw stealth missions. There's this, this claim that apparently in Spider-Man games and in other superhero action games that there's just too much action. And this has never been a problem in the past. We have enjoyed countless other video games prior to the Marvel Spider-Man games that were damn fun from start to finish and didn't feel like, extra or just too much action. I just don't see that as an issue. I mean, we absolutely loved and adored the Arkham franchise. For me, not so much Arkham Knight because, well, they did some choice things there that I didn't really like. But in regards to Arkham Asylum, in regards to Arkham City, I absolutely adored those. I even adored a lot of Spider-Man games in the past, given we've had some crap too. But I absolutely adore a lot of Spider-Man games in the past. At no point, I mean, even X-Men Origins Wolverine is a great game. We don't have like nonsensical stealth missions by another character that isn't even a superhero in X-Men Origins Wolverine. These are games that are looked back upon fondly. And people never complain that, oh, there's too much action in an action adventure game. To me, when I'm playing a Spider-Man game, that downtime is me just cruising in that swinging motion, man. I'm just cruising by swinging through the city. To me, that's the downtime. That's the fun time. That's the I'm in my cruising, chilling back moment. I don't need Mary Jane's stealth missions to break up pacing. It does, you know, it does negatives than positive, breaking things up. But that's my opinion. Other people have said, well, I don't mind the missions, but they don't say that they love them. They say, usually, from what I've encountered of individuals in a community that actually don't hate these missions, they're typically like, they were okay. They were better than 2018's, but people don't love these missions. And to act like people do is stupid. And honestly, just lying. Of course, we're going to have those fanboys that just gargle anything from PlayStation to begin with, but those people, I'm convinced, aren't people. Let's continue. For others, it sucks the energy out of the game that's otherwise fast-paced and wide open. And yes, I feel as though that is the case, and a lot of people also feel the same. Recently, we brought Insomniac's senior creative director, Brian, into a spoiler-packed episode of Beyond to talk about everything Spider-Man 2. And he had plenty to say about the studio's decision for Megajaw. Warning, spoilers for Spider-Man 2 follow. Read at your own risk. According to Brian, Insomniac was well aware that MJ missions hadn't been anyone's favorite bit of the first Spider-Man, and they did ponder foregoing them entirely in the sequel, but instead the team went a different direction. No, they went in the same direction. They doubled down. But he says, we had two choices. We could say, all right, we'll make it easy and just not do it. And everyone would go, great, no MJ missions. Or we could say, hey, we've talked about showing the world from all different angles. We're going to make her moments better. We're going to take on the challenge. We're going to make people like playing as her. We pick and choose our spots. We knew we had to make her more of a proactive, capable person. And if she's a little OP, I don't give a shit. She's fine. I don't care. Oh man, it's crazy how they do not see, or at this point, I'm convinced they don't care. This dude is saying it outright. We don't care that you don't like this. We don't care that this is bad. We'll try and make something bad at least digestible. That's literally what I'm getting here, because there's no way in a superhero video game you're going to make playing as Mary Jane genuinely appealing. So Insomniac committed, believing in the importance of showing MJ as a capable hero. It's so laughable, man. Can't you just accept that MJ is not a hero, or at least not in the superhero sense? She could be a good person. She could be a positive person in this world, but she's not a superhero. This is a superhero video game. Why are we playing as her? Even if she didn't have powers, Brian says that was even part of the motivation to include her as a playable character in the final mission, despite MJ not being in the original plan. They even briefly toyed with letting players control MJ riding her bike, though that was ultimately scrapped to make room for other content. Oh my god, dude. They really did indulge, and this just sounds like pretentious shit. This just sounds like someone that doesn't understand how to make video games fun, or what is genuinely fun for a gamer. And that need to show her as a capable hero was also part of the reason that MJ got her incredibly powerful stun gun. In Spider-Man 1, there was a really early, super early in development We never made it, but it was part of a story treatment where Peter is going to be injured and he could barely walk. Brian recalls. She was going to actually try to get him to safety, and she was going to grab one of his web shooters, and she was going to put it on. Actually, fire at enemies that were trying to get to them, but that never happens. I think that's where the web shooter idea came from, because I was like, let's give her the ability to stun enemies in the first mission. Jesus. I'm glad that they at least, didn't make two shit Spider-Man games. Or at least, the sad reality is Peter Parker in Marvel Spider-Man 2 is the damsel in distress. No one else is, just him. The entire game. It's very consistent. And maybe you won't notice it if you're just going along for the ride. But if you pay attention, he's the only genuine damsel in distress. And kind of, a big F up. When you really do count all the times, he really does F up. So essentially what this director is admitting to is that they doubled down. They assessed what the gamer said about MJ stealth missions. They got an overwhelming negative response to it and said, let's double down. And I really do feel as though that was their only incentive, to double down. We're going to, they don't like it? Well, we're going to include it again, except we're going to try to make it better this time. And they developed this entire game, making sure to include the MJ stealth missions. And they figured out, I guess, that the only way to make this at least not completely miserable is to simply just make her the most powerful character in the game. That's what it is. And I'm glad they at least admit to it. It's crazy exactly how bold this director was with it too. It's a shame because I could think of 100 different ways to make this game better. I have already suggested we should have been able to play as Black Cat, or we should have been able to play as Kraven. These would have been infinitely better because these are people that are well equipped to be in a superhero game and to be playable characters in a superhero game. Mary Jane, however, is not. Insomniac was dead serious about making us see Mary Jane as a hero. The problem is, Insomniac, nobody cares about that. People don't play Spider-Man to see Mary Jane be a hero. They don't play it for that. Nobody cares about that. The fact that you wasted all this time making missions that nobody genuinely likes, they just tolerate at best, and it completely break the game in terms of basic common sense and what should be the case and what should not be the case in terms of strength. MJ is top tier. You wasted all this time developing this nonsense that nobody really cares about in the grand scheme of things, besides those, pink-haired weirdos that you're trying to appeal to that probably didn't even buy the game to begin with. You could have instead worked to make the Symbiote monsters play differently from Kraven's goons. Because yes, besides one very specific difference being that the green monsters, you have to shoot them with your web shooters to kill them. There's nothing really differentiating from the Symbiote alien monsters versus Kraven's goons. You would think that they would play completely differently, given one is essentially alien and the other is, human. But hey, man, we can't use basic common sense here, clearly. It's sad that that is the case. I mean, we could have had a game that has genuine replay value. I just want to get my plat and be done with this game. To actually think about going back and playing not just MJ stealth missions, but walking sim segments that, once again, I didn't care about, that I can't skip. It's a disappointment. This game does not have replay value for me. And I know that there's a lot of people in the community that feel the same way. Some people obviously feel as though they could go through this game again. And I don't blame you for that. But there is some stark there's just too much for me personally that makes me say, oh God, I have to do that again if I go through this game again. And they knew that that's the case. You can't sit here and tell me otherwise. They had all the feedback that they needed. They chose not to listen. It's depressing to think about, man. I finished Marvel Spider-Man 2, and really, I just feel as though my money's waste. There's games that I played that are even shorter experiences than Marvel Spider-Man 2 that I paid the same amount of money for. And I came away from those, like, for example, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. After I finished that game, I was very happy with it. I enjoyed it genuinely. I thought it was a really good experience, and it's a shorter game, by fact, than Marvel Spider-Man 2, but I loved it because the overall story was so well crafted. Ratchet got his time, and he was a dope character. Rivet was a new character that I really enjoyed, and they just did a really good job of making me enjoy that game. And despite it being shorter, I enjoyed that experience so much more than I enjoyed Marvel Spider-Man 2. I really feel as though this could have been purchased on a sale, and I would have been completely. I would have felt at least my money wasn't completely wasted. I probably would have felt like my money was wasted. Like The Last of Us 2, I bought it half price, and I still feel like I wasted my money on that game. Because at the end of the day, the story, the narrative, leaves a nasty taste in gamers' mouths. And the fact that this director is so bold as to admit, yeah, we did exactly what you didn't want on purpose, out of spite. Well, that makes it even nastier. But guys, let me know what you think about this. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much. Hit 3K on the channel. It's 3,000 subscribers. That is a testament to you guys, the love and support. So thank you so much for that. I'm very, very much appreciative and hope to continue to make content that you want to see. And yeah, guys, consider becoming a channel member. Gets you instant access to the Discord. I also have channel membership videos, basically content that wouldn't do well on the main channel, but things that I genuinely want to do, like talk about film. That's the thing that I started a channel with, but since the channel's gone very much into the gaming thing, so I feel like that's the best way to do it without having to balance two channels, because I really just don't want to do that. But follow me over on Twitter, Kick, if you like to continue the conversation. And guys, check out my review of Marvel Spider-Man 2 if you have not already. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.